Okay, so we're going to continue today with Earth's visible features. Remember, were five that we listed yesterday. If you look back at your notes from yesterday, we're going to just continue on the page that you were writing on yesterday. So we've got mountain ranges, ocean trenches, mid-ocean ridges, rift valleys, and volcanoes. Now, the only one of these that we talked about yesterday was the mountain ranges, and we did talk a little bit about subduction, but subduction is just something that happens that causes mountain ranges to occur, but subduction itself is not a visible feature. It's just a cause of one of our visible features. So we're going to continue today by looking at ocean trenches, mid-ocean ridges, and rift valleys. So we're going to continue by defining ocean trenches. And these are all things that you looked up images for yesterday. So at any time you can pause this video, go back to the assignment you submitted to me yesterday in Google Classroom, and take a look at those images that you found just to refresh your memory with what each of these visible features looks like. So ocean trenches form where oceanic plates converge. Remember, that means come together. And one plate subducts underneath the other. And we defined subduction yesterday. We've got it in our notes here. So if you look here at this picture of ocean trenches, trenches mark the position at which the flexed subducting crust begins to descend or go under the crust it's colliding with. And I know that's a lot to take in and that sounds really confusing, but just kind of look and see what's happening here in this picture. The ocean trenches typically extend 1.9 to 2.5 miles below the level of the surrounding ocean floor. So a trench is exactly what you see here in this picture. It looks kind of like a little slope or a little valley underneath the ocean, and it's on the ocean floor. So that is one of Earth's visible features. And again, it's where oceanic plates converge and one happens to go underneath the other. And that's how that little divot or that space is formed. Next, we have mid-ocean ridges. Now, this is where oceanic plates diverge. Remember, that means when the plates move apart from each other. And you can see here in this picture, these arrows are moving apart from each other. So when these plates split apart, mid-ocean ridges form underneath. The hot magma from Earth's mantle, remember our three key layers of Earth, we've got our mantle. It bubbles to the surface where those plates diverged. Then that magma cools by seawater and forms a new crust. So that crust is pretty much just cooled, hardened magma that came up from the heat of the mantle. And the newest oceanic crust is located near the center of the ridge. Over time, new oceanic crust pushes older crust farther away. So we are going to define mid-ocean ridges. And these form where oceanic plates diverge All right. That's your mid-ocean ridges. We're going to move on to rift valleys. Again, you found a picture yesterday on what a rift valley can potentially look like. So where continental plates diverge. Over here, this is where oceanic plates diverge. But this, a rift valley, has to occur at a continental plate or where there is land. And they are often narrow, which means they're skinny, not very wide, and they have steep sides and a flat floor. Rift valleys can lead to the creation of entirely new continents or deepen valleys in existing ones. So here you can see an image of a rift valley. Here's your continental crust. Here's the crust diverging, moving apart and splitting, and the valley is created there. So let's define rift valley. Rift valleys form where continental plates diverge or move apart. And then finally, we have volcanoes. I know a lot of us are very interested in volcanoes. So volcanoes form when tectonic plates push together, and volcanoes are pretty much just mountains that erupt with lava, and where the plates collide, the pressure is built up in earth, and magma, which is a mixture of gases and hot molten rock, and that's just rock that's so hot that it's kind of liquefied. It builds up in the mantle and pushes up into the rock layers. And we know that when when a lot of pressure is built up in something, it could explode. Okay, it's kind of like shaking a soda can, and all of that gas on the inside of the soda can, that carbonation being created. And when you open that can, it explodes because all of that pressure has been built up. So it's not the same thing with a volcano, but you can kind of think of it that way. When all of that pressure is built up, that mountain that is filled with lava erupts. So the magma opens cracks in weak spots in rocks and eventually pushes all the way to the surface, and that's when you have your volcanic explosion. So we're going to define volcanoes and kind of list how they occur. They form where tectonic plates converge. I'm just going to keep reminding ourselves what converge and diverge mean. So where tectonic plates converge or come together, they form where mountains that erupt with lava are located, and they form where pressure is built up in earth. And that's all that we have for today.